So, hello, ma'am. In this session, we are going to do another PQ of you. That's been gig economy. And again, we're going to decode this question from every angle, from every aspect, so that you can build on certain amount of what we called material for yourself or notes for yourself and can conclude this question in a very effective manner. We're going to discuss this, what's gig economy, what's informal economy. So stay tuned for this and you're going to love this session. So let's begin with this. Sir, you must have you must have seen quite an enormous term that's been used repeatedly in papers such as Indian Express and Hindu called gig economy. What's that, sir? What's that? According to ILO, that is International Labour Organization, gig workers are those engaged in income earning activities outside traditional employer-employee relationship, often mediated by digital platforms. So what's that? You must have seen Swiggy workers. You must have seen what we called as Zomato workers out there. You must have seen people doing freelance on Fiverr, providing certain activities such as financial modeling or MS Excel work out there. That's called gig workers. That's called gig workers because they are not engaged in a traditional relationship between employer and employee. They do tasks. They do tasks based on per hour basis, or for example, freelance basis where there is no permanent employer. It's just a contract basis out there. Just a contract basis out there. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. What scholars call this? Scholars scholars call this as market duality. Market duality. What's market duality? What's market duality? What's market? What's called market duality, sir? Just give me a sec. So market duality means it offers gig economy. Market duality. It is act as a layer. Act as a layer. You can use this term in your answer writing as well. You can use this term in your answer writing as well. It is act as a layer, layer between formal and informal jobs. Layer between formal and informal jobs. And informal. Formal jobs, any blue collar, any white collar job out there, investment banking, consulting, that's called formal job, where there's a permanent contract, there's a permanent job letter offered to you, and there's a relationship between employer and employee, along with job security, along with social security in terms of life insurance and other benefits out there. That's called formal. Informal jobs, so you can see informal jobs out there across country and even outside your house as well. There are street vendors out there that's working out there, small kirana shops that's being there, which doesn't come under the labor laws, which doesn't have any social security out there. That's called informal jobs. That's called informal jobs. Whereas when you talk about gig economy again doesn't have that sort of job security. But sir, it's been mediated by tech platforms. It's been mediated by tech platforms. For example, Swiggy is there, Fiverr is there, or Zomato is there. All these are tech platforms that enabling this gig economy. That's enabling this gig economy. I hope you got this point. I hope you got this point. You can use this term. You can use this term in your essay. That's a very good term that's used by Harvard professor out there to call it as a market duality. Let's go further. There are some statistics out there that I want you to note down, or even you can use in your answer writing as well, called how much gig workers are in India. In 2023, it was around 7.7 million as per Niti Aayog. What 7.7 million? Around 70 lakhs. You don't need to cram 77 lakhs. It's around. You need to mention approx value. Approx 70 lakh workers are engaged. Lakh workers are engaged in a gig economy. Are engaged in a gig economy. Now, what's percentage of India's workforce that's been employed? Percentage of India's workforce in that's been employed in gig economy is 1.5%. Is 1.5%. These two are important statistics that you need to remember for your answer writing and for your essay value addition. I hope you got this. I hope you got this. What's workforce? Let me give you labor force. I have taught this earlier as well. What's labor force? What's labor force? Labor force is nothing but those who are working and those who are looking for work. Those who are working and looking for work. For example, a person is A. He is working in an MNC. He will be a part of labor force. But a person B who is not yet employed but searching for jobs on LinkedIn, he will also be considered in a labor force. He will also be considered in a labor force. What's the labor force? What's the labor force? It's approx 55%. 55% of Indian of Indian population. I hope you got this. I hope you got this. Nothing to worry about. That's simple. You need to understand there is two concepts. What's informal? What's gig economy? What's formal? Formal, you can relate it with white collar jobs. Informal, you can relate it with blue collar jobs. Again, gig economy does include blue collar jobs as well, but it involves white collar jobs as well. Because when you are sitting and providing certain projects, example, you are doing certain, for example, Power BI work or offering valuation, DCF, discounted cash flow financial modeling, that's a white collar job out there. You need to understand, you need to maintain a balance. That's why it's called market duality, because it's lie in the center of formal and informal. It's not completely formal as well, it's not completely informal as well. I hope you got this. I hope you got this. Next is, sir. Again, when it comes to gig economy, it's been expanding rapidly. It's been expanding rapidly around it. It's been expanding rapidly, especially when it comes to India, where the job loss has been on a higher side, where the economy is not doing that sort of well. Gig economy becomes important source of employment for a lot of people out there. For a lot of people out there, their livelihood depends upon that job. The livelihood depends upon that job. You must have seen these videos on the social media as well. How these workers are doing all sort of work, even in a heat stroke, even in a rainfall. That's how life is. It's unfair, but it's expanding. Of course, it's expanding, especially with the digital revolution out there. Especially when there's a exorbitant amount of tech platforms coming out day and night. It's increasing out there. It's increasing out there. Even companies such as Zepto has been coming, providing that 10-minute delivery or something like that. Gig economy has been increased. It's catching pace out there. Now, these are certain differences for informal and gig workers. Informal, no formal contracts, sir. Like your kirana worker, like a kirana shop worker out there, or any street vendor out there. Lacks social security, no health insurance, no life insurance out there, no PF, not always digital. It doesn't always remain a digital out there because a lot of people are not street vendors. There doesn't too many engage with Swiggy and Zomato. They carry out their whole day work in road as well. There is nothing like that. Whereas when you talk about gig workers, it's a platform mediated task. It's a platform mediated task Zepto, like Zepto, Swiggy, Zomato, Fiverr. All these are tech enabled. All these are tech enabled job out there. All these are tech enabled jobs out. It's again example has been there, app based Zomato and Ola. App based Zomato and Ola. I hope you got this difference. I hope you got this difference. Let's move on to the next slides. Role in employment generation, and that's where question lies, sir. That's where question lies. UPSC in its previous year question has asked this: how gig economy is enabling employment in our nation? How gig economy? I would try. That's a PYQ. How gig economy? How gig economy leads to leads to job generation, or leads to or helping in job generation in India? Job generation, India. How gig economy leads to job generation in India? How gig economy leads to job generation in India? And that's where we have to think about it. Where we have to think about. How gig economy leads to job generation in India? How? Sir, how it's been leading to job generation in India? And answer lies in this. Answer lies in this. So first of all, it's how it's generating because it's offering other sort of work. There are a lot of MNCs out there with specialized skill that requires specialized skill of a certain form of degrees from a top tier colleges out there. Not everyone want to make that, not for that job. For example, if they're McKinsey, Boston, and what we call Bain and Company, see, it's practically impossible for everyone to get into that because they prerequisite requirement to get a job in these consulting jobs or these investment banking jobs is a top tier degree. Either you are from IIT Bombay or Delhi, either or you are from certain IIM Ahmedabad or Calcutta, something like that. It's not possible for everyone to get this. But again, sir, life doesn't continue like that. You need money to survive in this economy. You need money to run your basic chores. You need money to run your basic life. So it is contributing in your, it is contributing improving the standard of living. It is because there are a lot of people who are doing freelance. There are a lot of people who are doing earning money through in Zomato. These drivers, a lot of people out there. That's offers you a certain platform where you can earn money. Again, it leads to how it leads to offers offers a choice offers a choice offers a choice in job market offers a choice in job market. That's the first aspect. It offers a choice to job market. Again, opportunity for unskilled workers. Opportunity for unskilled workers. You need to remember these points, how to generate that. Opportunity for unskilled workers. That's how it's generating. Even if someone is against that employee-employee relationship or someone believes that it's a slavery, modern is slavery, they are free from slavery, not bound by any slavery, not bound by anyone's slavery. You can do at your own will. You can do at your own will. If you are doing something freelance, it's up to you whether you want to take that project or not, whether to delay that or not, whether you want to work at this moment or not. It offers you flexibility. It's offering you more time. And of course, it's not drudgery out there, not drudgery. Drudgery means you're not overloading with yourself with a lot of work. There has been a proper work-life balance out there. So, of course, eliminates slavery attitude, eliminates slavery attitude. And of course, the recent debate that we're going to discuss, I'm going to take that lecture on that, is called maintains work-life balance to some extent. Work-life balance to work-life balance to some extent. Why to some extent, sir? Because again, I'm just considering it whether person is registered in Upwork or Fiverr out there doing a white collar job, not for those delivery writers out there. You need to understand that. So this is what it's offering. It's offering. It's offering. It is again just a point out there. It's leading to job-led growth. Leading to job-led growth, not jobless growth. So I hope you got this point, how gig economy works out there in the economy, how it presenting itself in an at least new platform where the formal and the informal sectors are unable to provide you any sort of uh, what you call a work-life satisfaction or any sort of alternative to work out there. It's been offering that. It's been offering that. Though it has its limitations out there, but again, you need to register that it's a developing nation. Can't have much choices, but in limited choices, if you're getting certain amount of free will out there, it's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. Trust me on that. It's not a bad deal. I hope you got these points. I hope you got these points out there. So, sir, there is this income flexibility. You can use these terms. They are again used by scholars out there. Provide flexible income opportunities. It benefits students, homemakers, part-timers. Of course, again, you can use this concept as well. Offers earning opportunities for students. Offering earning opportunities for students. Earlier there used to be what we called students used to teach tuitions, home tuitions, earn basic income, or what they called as um, pocket money out there. But it's offering them an alternative to do a certain freelance work out there or do certain kind of internship online out there. So it's again offering an income flexibility to a lot of students out there who can't again who certain amount of money to fulfill their education needs or to pay fees out there for institute. Not everyone is coming from an affluent family out there. Not everyone is coming from family out there. Okay. I hope you got this income flexibility. Low entry barriers. Low entry barriers fosters entrepreneurship and self-employment. Self-employment is offer because it's offer sort of flexibility, enables individuals to start working with minimum prerequisites. Again, when you start out, want to be a delivery boy, you don't need any degree out there or prerequisite skill out there. It's up to you. You want to work out there or not. So entry barrier is not there. Entry barrier is not there. But when you come to consulting, there are a lot of entry barriers out there. Whether you're from top school out there, the top institute out there, whether you have a required skills, whether you have a minimum work X that's required to carry out this work or not. So XYZ, there are a lot of factors out there. Again, low entry barrier is there. Workforce contribution, that's very important. So earlier, those people who were not able to get employment, who were not able to get that respect in the society, they are getting into the workforce out there. They're getting into the workforce out there. And again, 7.7 million gig workers are there. 7.7 million gig workers are there as per Niti Aayog. That's huge contribution when it comes to employment level. That's huge contribution. Especially when you talk about that there has been a jobless growth in India. India is growing. The GDP has been doing well. It's been the fourth largest economy as well. Okay, I got it. I understand that. But employment is not there. It's a jobless growth out there. People are not getting job. It's been a trickle down. See, there has been a concept called a trickle down effect. Trickle down theory. There has been a concept called trickle down theory. Trickle down theory. What this theory says? This theory says, okay, we're going to support few industries. We're going to support few industries. For example, Adani and Ambani. And government going to support these. Government going to support these industries because if these industries grow, it will automatically lead to the expansion of employment level because it will create job and it will automatically improve per capita income and standard of living. But unfortunately, this theory failed. This theory failed. Not in India, but across the globe, this theory doesn't work out. It's a complete failure out there because trickle-down effect doesn't take place. Wealth has been created by Adanis and Ambanis for themselves. It's not been distributed down in a pyramid. It's not been equally distributed or appropriately distributed down to the pyramid. You need to understand that. And you can see across the country how the situation has been. Look at the Narayan Murthy case. And I think Narayan Murthy says that there should be a 7 days working, 7-day working week out there. But again, it just offers 3.5 lakh CTC to the freshers. 3.5 lakh CTC is nothing but 22,000 in hand. What are you going to do with 22,000 in hand? 18 to 18,000 is just a rent for a 1 BHK out there. So that's how thing works. That's how thing works. It's a failed theory out there. You can use again this word out there. Failed theory. Failed theory. Failed theory. Failed theory. I hope you got this. I hope you got this. If you got any doubt, you can ask about that. Doubt you can ask. Go on to the next. Again, sir, there are certain statistics that you need to remember. Again, you need to remember certain statistics. Forget about this. Forget about this. Just look at this. The gig economy generated $24 billion in gross volume in 2023. Gross volume in 2023. It shows a 17% compounded annual growth rate. What is CAGR? What is CAGR? I'm going to explain you in simple terms. Just wait for a moment. It creates income for diverse demographics. Businesses benefit from lower operational costs. However, gig workers offer lack trading enjoyment. That's all. But again, it's been creating 24 billion in gross volume. $24 billion in gross volume. It means it adding up to the employment. Again, GDP has been increasing for that matter. Businesses are doing well because there has been a low operational cost out there. They're getting a cheap labor out there. But the caution is, the caveat is, they are not getting any sort of social security out there. If some drivers dies in an accident, will not get any sort of life insurance or health insurance from a company outside, or PF for that matter. So you need to understand that. Now, what is CAGR? CAGR. What is CAGR? Let me explain you. For example, you do SIP. You must have heard that SIP must be done in a finance called systematically investment plans in mutual fund. So. I'm just giving you a random example. I'm not calculating out there. For example, you invest 1,000. On first year, it becomes 1,050, or say 1,500. Let me give you an multiples of 100. Becomes 1,500 first year after first. After second year, it becomes 1,800. After third year, it becomes 2,400. Now, you started invested with 1,000 rupees. At the end of third year, you get 2,400. Now, final value is 2,400 divided by initial value called 1,000. 1 by n, that is number of years, 1 by 3. 1 by 3 minus 1. That's how you look at things called C. Again, let me give you an example for this. You can try this. You can try this in MS Excel as well. You will get this. You will get this point. Suppose you invested 1,000. After 1 year, it becomes 1,500. After second year, it becomes 1,800. And after third year, it becomes 2,400. Now the final value, what's the formula for CAGR? That is compounded annual growth rate. Compounded annual growth rate is final value by initial value upon 1 by n, where n is the number of years minus 1. That's the formula how you calculate. You can do that in MS Excel. It will be very easy for you. Now final value is 2,400. Final value is 2,400. Initial value is 1,000. Number of years is 3. That is 1 by 3 minus 1. You will get certain amount of growth. You will get certain amount of percentage. For example, in this case, I'm taking this as 8%. So CAGR is 8% over 3 years. It's been increasing 8% continuously. That's how thing works. That's how compounded annual growth rate is calculated. It doesn't mean that it's just like an average. Like for example, per year it's been increasing 8%, but it will not tell you in which year it was minimum or it was maximum. You can leave that, but you just need to know how it's been calculated, and you just need to know how it's been done. So compounded annual growth rate is nothing but growth rate that's been going on over the number of years. I hope you got this point. I hope you got this point. What's compounded annual growth rate? What's some compounded annual? We all see compounded annual. Let's go on to the next slide. Let's go on to the next. Now, what's the government role in protecting gig work? What's government is doing? Need to write way forward, and the government policies come into play. Need to write that. What's government is doing? The government is coming out with certain thing. It's been doing a lot of deliberations on this in a parliament as well. A lot of these have been raising this question: how do we gonna protect these gig workers out there? So there has been certain thing. For example, in Rajasthan, that's State Act, Rajasthan Act 2023. State law specifically for gig and platform workers. Establish a welfare board and fund ensures registration and welfare for gig workers. Again, Supreme Court observation. Emphasis the critical need for formal recognition. Abhi sir recognition nahi milta. There has been no recognition out there. Formal recognition of gig workers has not been there properly. They are not given any sort of social security. They are not given any sort of permanent hours as well. For example, for gig economy, for workers like Swiggy and blue collar job, they have been working for 12 hours, 15 hours a day. There has not been a limit out there. For example, in Bangalore, you must have seen a news, there has been a limit for 12 hours. Around Delhi NCR, there has been a limit for 9 to 10 hours, but there has been no limit for these workers. They are doing all day work. They are doing all day work. It's a drudgery out there. There is no work-life balance out there. Gonna affect their body in a long term. Gonna affect their body in a long term because they're doing extreme work in an extreme condition out there. There has been a climate change. There has been a global warming out. To understand that. Calls for comprehensive policy frame. Suo motu act by Supreme Court, and it calls for policy frame. Calls for policy framework. I hope you got this. I hope you got this. Again, such challenges and risk for gig workers. Challenges and risk for gig workers. That's been a major point, and you need to go through that and need to write that. What's job security and income stability? It's not been there. It's not been there. Sir, for example, let me give you, see, divide the gig workers in two aspects. Gig workers, divide this gig workers in two. Gig work in two aspects. One is blue collar, one is blue collar, other is white collar. I hope you know these terms. These are very common out there. White collar, those who are doing the desk job out there in MS without any physical work out there. Blue collar, who are doing it physical work, a lot of physical work. Pullers, six. These are all construction workers out there. They're called blue collar workers. So for white collar, sir, for example, for blue collar workers, there has been no job security and income stability. Gig workers often face uncertain work. They experience unstable income. There is no guaranteed minimum wage out there. There is no minimum wage out there. Code has been there, but it is yet to be ratified by the parliament again. Again, sir, let me give you another, and it's a personal example as well. Personal, I someone in a freelance as well. If you register yourself in a Fiverr or Upwork out there, you're gonna get work at particular month. The next month, you're not gonna get any work. In a month, you can even earn 70,000 per month. 3 months, you will not get any sort of any income. It's a very unstable out there. It's not for a people who are looking for stability out there. For example, if you're looking for government jobs out there, you're looking for one thing that's called stability. You need a per month income out there. You're looking for mental peace. There is no mental peace out there. There is no mental peace out there. There is 24 out there. 24/7 hustle. No mental peace. No mental peace. Okay, sir. That's how thing works. That's how thing. Limited social security again. Yes, sir. At this moment, there are a lot of accidents that's been going on or disasters that's been going on in India. No one even cares about their life. No one even cares about their life. Not even a company, not even a tech platform out there, not even the owner of Zomato called the Pinder Goyal, and no one cares about that. As simple as that. That's simple as that. Work pressure and health risk. That's high. Where the that's where the question lies. High performance targets are common. There are significant health and safety risks, especially for those field-based roles, especially for field-based. So in this case, we are specifically talking about blue collar workers. We are specifically talking about collar workers. How so? So there has been, it's June running. Delhi, Delhi is a hub for or known for heat waves, extreme heat, extreme heat, poor infrastructure, poor infrastructure, poor infrastructure. Roads has not been there. That's not sustainable. Can't take lot of load of loan. Can't take lot of load from rainfall, torrential rainfall out there, because and that would be again very risky for them to drive bikes all around that day and monsoon as well, because it's highly vulnerable at that moment of time. They might or may fall into a severe accident out there. So that's another thing. Poor infrastructure, poor air quality, poor air quality. Poor air quality. Again, you know that in Delhi is the hub for poor air quality because of several reasons. Again, it's a landlocked out there. In November, December, there has been a stubble burning. That's all the smoke is coming from Punjab region. All that stuff. Bicular emulations. These are certain criterias. it's not possible for gig worker to remain healthy. Again, low income and unstable income leads to poor diet, poor nutrition and diet, poor nutrition and diet. Poor nutrition and diet. No sleeping hours because they have been doing their job for 15 hours or 16 hours a day. Sleep deprived. Sleep deprived. Affecting their mental health because again it's an uncertain job. Mental health. Degradation of mental health. Degradation of. You need to develop these points because in mains only points will help you. You need to generate as many points as you can. That's a brainstorming part out there. I need to understand that's an activity that you need to indulge in this. Do certain amount of brainstorming on a regular basis if you want to score well in your mains out there. There is no other formula out there how you're gonna score that. Do brainstorming. Do regular brainstorming. Degradation of mental health. Degradation of mental health. What's next? What can be? What can be another thing? No health insurance. Need to bear if God forbid if they're gonna get any sort of severe chronic illness, they doesn't have any sort of security out there or health insurance out there. Gonna born it with their own income out there. Gonna go born it with their own income out there. Again, they don't have that much of resources. No health insurance. Need to understand one thing that in India, out of pocket expenditure means people are not having their health insurance. They are giving that from their own savings and their own uh, pockets. Out of pocket expenditure is approx 70%. Is approx 70%. Okay. What else? What else? Again, they are living away from their family. No emotional support. No emotional support. Emotions. That's another. That's another. What else? What else? What can you think about that? Any other point that's coming out of your mind? Please share it. Please share it. How they are getting affected, or what's thing that affecting their system or health or any other thing that's putting them into the vulnerable situation out there. That's putting them into the vulnerable situation. That's how thing works. How many points? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. More than sufficient. More than sufficient. 2 word answer. Your CS exam. More than sufficient. I hope you got these all points. I hope you got all these off points. I've explained that in a bit of extension because again, it's a very important topic. It's a very important topic out there. Can be used, can be asked in GS3, can be asked in GS1, can be asked in GS4, can be used as a case study out there in your essay exam. In your essay exam, another thing. So this is complete description or division of what's called informal sector or gig economy. Definition. For informal sector, unregulated economic activities out there, unregulated economic activities outside formal legal framework, outside formal legal. So if someone says, for example, if some kirana store workers say that, okay, certain, for example, take an example of a certain kirana below minor is working over there and after a certain period doesn't get his salary out there. If he's gonna do that FIR thing, report to the labor bureau out there that I'm not getting not getting my salary. Please do something. He's exploiting me out there. The labor bureau will not register him. You know what's the reason? What's the reason? Because informal worker doesn't come under the true definition. Doesn't come under the true definition. So labor department will say, sorry, it's completely not our fault. It's out of our hands. It's not in a system to register complaint of an informal worker. Because by definition of informal worker, you are not secured for that, not secured for that salary. So beware. That's what it is. Again, technology-enabled flexible temporary jobs, often through digital platforms. We've studied this. Employment type: self-employed, small vendors, agricultural labor, agricultural labor, agricultural labor. They are facing all sort of different problems. They are facing all sort of different problems that's leading to high rents, high rents, disguised unemployment, low productivity, low productivity. So yeah, we're gonna discuss this in agriculture aspect because there are a lot of problems. Again, MSP problem, a high rental income problem, the not getting enough land for their productivity issue, unit economics problem, scaling of economies of scale problem. All these stuff discuss in agriculture aspect. Freelancers, delivery agents, cab drivers, digital workers, Upwork, Fiverr. We have discussed that. Regulation, largely unregulated outside tax and labor laws. This is what I've given example because that kid will not get any help from the authorities or administration out there because it's out of their context or out of their reach. It's not covering that kid under because informal workers are not covered under labor laws as of such. Semi-regulated because certain, for example, state has taken action against them. Rajasthan Act 2013, this slide we have discussed for that. Use of technology, minimal or traditional, high, dependent on digital platforms. That's important because even commerce minister that we are creating a lot of gig workers out there, we are creating a lot of digital platforms out there. But is it necessary? These kind of startups we want in India? Or do we want certain research base or we want certain Google or Microsoft out there? Point is, we are not creating enough value addition. We are not creating enough value addition. We do creating jobs, we do creating startups, but are we creating that sort of technology or sort of groundbreaking innovation out there? Not yet, sir. Not yet, because research and development has not been picked up in India. Outstanding. Again, if you look at the numbers, the budget spending on that is just 1.1%. In 1.1% is nothing as compared to the developed nations that spend on research and development out there. We are not spending on that. Education has been a big miss out there because people now take education for granted. You can become a millionaire by being a YouTuber. So why will you study? Why will you study? That's the thing that's been going. That's the thing that's been going on. Payment mechanism, mostly in cash and informal. Again, digital platforms, app-based tracking, UPI. I hope you got these points. I hope you got these points. Limited flexibility, employer-employee relationship, informal or direct, household employing, maid, indirect platform is intermediary. Another, social security, very limited but emerging through policy. Accident insurance, now we have started have given that, but again it's very meager out there. It's very meager out there. Income predictability, generally low, irregular, all these stuff. IT scam, lot of gig workers are permanent or vulnerable section that's been on the top list of that's been top list for scandals. Top list for scandals because again, not educated out there, can be easily fooled in terms of finance as well. Yeah, they have been on a top list. They have been vulnerable for these financials that's been taken. That's one of the limitations of gig workers. Limitations of gig workers as well. I hope you got these points. Okay, now this is a climatic impact on gig workers. Climatic impact. Climatic impact on gig workers. Climatic impact on gig workers. That's important. That's important. For example, extreme heat, high temperature impact outdoor delivery workers, and it's been affecting their health. And it's been affecting. Trust me, guys. We are working in a AC room. You are studying in your AC room. We are working in heat waves out there. In Delhi, if you will work for 7 days, around 2 to 3 out there, you're gonna faint out there. Faint out there. Trust me, it's that hot. That hot out there. That's what climate change. Heavy monsoon rains, again, poor infrastructure has been there. Roads are not sufficient to take the load of monsoon. That's again fear of electrocution there, or a massive accident has been. Air pollution exposure. We have studied that AQI is poor in India, especially Delhi is a hub for that. You have known that. Climate event is also leading to loss of income. Loss of income. How? So if they get ill for this, if they get ill because of these circumstances, they're not gonna work. If they're not gonna work, they're not gonna get good salary out there. If they're not gonna get salary, again, they're already downtrodden in the pyramid. Their life will become hell. Their life will become hell. Trust me on that. Their life will become hell. So we need to introduce certain policies to protect them. That's a way forward. Need to take proactive sessions. We need to take proactive policies. Government need to come out with a better policies. Government need to come out with a better laws or bills out there. Protect these workers out there. Otherwise, it will create havoc for them. It will create havoc for them, especially in the background of climate change. Especially in the background of climate change. I hope you got all of these points. We have covered this topic in an extensive manner. And again, I'm going to meet you in the next session with certain other topics.